Alright, hello everybody, Cyan Crocomire here with not Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy will come Friday, I think. I need time to learn how to use OBS, and I need time to do the speed edit itself, because I kind of like drew out what Funtime Foxy would look like, and oh, it's gonna take a while. Anyways, this is a video that's filler. Across YouTube, I've seen a lot of Pokemon Sun and Moon teams that people are going to use for the playthrough after all what we think is all the Pokemon have been leaked because of the demo. And so I came up with a team, and when I realized that people were making videos on it, I said, why not? How about I make a video on it? So I haven't been tagged by anyone. I know that that's a thing going around, but no, I haven't been tagged by anyone because I suck. Anyway, so this is just sort of going to be a one-off video. Spoilers, of course. There's going to be 2 Pokemon in this that have not been revealed in trailers. And then I am using only Pokemon from, like, 7th gen Pokemon and Alolan forms. No returning Pokemon, with the exception of the Alolan forms. And then I am ditching my starter. No, I don't really like any of the starters. Okay, well, I kind of like Incineroar. He started to grow on me. I don't like Decidueye, surprisingly. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but I do not like Decidueye, and I do not like Primarina at all. But there's better Dark and Fire types than Incineroar, so I haven't used them. I'm going to pick Lit, and I'm going to use him for the start of the game, but, like, the second I get the Fire type that I want on the team, then he's probably going to go. This is one of this. I think this might be the first game where I've ditched a starter. But anyways, first Pokemon is Vikavolt. Now, the second I saw Vikavolt, I knew I had to use it because this thing is so cool. It's like a fighter jet. It's got like jumper cables for a mouth. How can you not like Vikavolt? It's bug electric. That's only been seen with Galvantula, and I love Galvantula. So there's nothing wrong with this Pokemon. And it has Levitate, which makes it immune to ground, and that's great, because 2 Pokemon on my team are weak to ground, and one of them might be 4 times weak to ground, so having an Earthquake resist is going to be beautiful. This isn't competitive, of course, but I mean, there's probably going to be like a ground trial captain, maybe a ground kahuna, and maybe the Alola League will have someone who's ground, and I know that in post-game you're going to fight Cynthia, who has Garchomp, so having a ground type, or ground immunity is great. And you get him early on, too, so he can benefit Litten, because Litten resists, fire. There's still a rock weakness, and since Charge Bug evolves kind of late, there isn't really much of a ground immunity early on, but, Litten benefits him. They have good synergy together, and you always need an early game Pokemon in your game. You can't just do it with the starter. The starter's going to become overpowered, and then the rest of your team isn't going to work, unless you decide to use, like, something like a legendary that's given to you, like, Latios and Oraz, and, like, Groudon and Kyogre. But, I'm not using legendaries for this, and I'm not using the Tapus either. But, yeah, I'm using Vikavolt, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Also, Charge-a-Bug. Oh crap, I'm not gonna have time to say my piece. No! Alright, sorry about that. The allotted time I had for this Vikavolt slide was ending, but, what I wanted to say was Charge-a-Bug is a contender for my new favorite, least, like, unfully evolved Pokemon. It was previously Dusclops, and I still do like Dusclops a lot, but, Charge-a-Bug is yeah, he's one of my, what am I trying to say? One of my favorite, non-fully evolved Pokemon. So is Torracat as well. Torracat's pretty cool. But, now we're going into Lurantis. I needed a grass type, and I originally wanted to use Decidueye, but after he was actually revealed in the trailer, I began to form an extreme hatred for Decidueye. Another thing is that I generally don't like using the overpopular Pokemon. I mean, granted, I do. I like Greninja. I like Scizor. But I try to use lesser-used Pokemon. I like the lesser-used Pokemon. And since Decidueye is always the definitively the fan favorite, that's sort of drawn me away from him. But there's a lot of other reasons why I hate Decidueye. Anyways, the other grass types of Elysian were Serena, Alolan Exeggutor, and Lurantis. And out of those, Lurantis is definitely my favorite. Especially considering that previously for a Praying Mantis Pokemon, all we had was Scyther. And I do definitely like Scyther. I mean, I just said that I don't really like Scizor, but I do still like Scizor. I mean, it's Scizor. How can you not like Scizor? I don't use Scizor very much. I don't use Mega Scizor that much on Showdown. I always use lesser used Megas like Pinsir. But, anyways, Scyther doesn't really look that much like a Praying Mantis. And Lurantis does. And the thing with Lurantis is that it's supposed to be like a flower mimicking a bug, and that's why it's not bug type. And that's perfect, because if my prediction is true for what another one of my Pokemon's typings is going to be, then I'd have 3 bug types, and that would not be very good. But thankfully, Lurantis is pure grass. It is not bug grass. If it was bug grass, it'd also have 2 4x weaknesses. And as we know, Parasect is not the best Pokemon at all. But it is pure grass, and I like its design. I like how it has bacon legs. It is another physical attacker, or most likely, because it gets Solar Blade, which is literally physical Solar Beam. I mean, I can't say what the stats are going to be like, but currently my team looks like it's going to be very physically based. There are, like, 2 Pokemon. There's 1 Pokemon that I think is going to be specially based. Another one that probably is. It might be a mixed attacker, but, I shouldn't really dwell on that. It's a in-game team. You're not gonna run into walls. Like, on Showdown, yes, you do need to run some physical and some special attackers, as you're going to be walled by a Pokemon that walls one of those types of attacks, but in the in-game, it's not really gonna matter. Even if you're fighting, like, a Blissey, a Blissey, it's not gonna matter. You can get around a Blissey. Anyways, I do quite like Lurantis. Grass type is much needed. I've always liked Praying Mantises, too. Like, every summer, always go out into garden and look for Praying Mantises, since I know they're there. But, yeah, that's, Lurantis. So, next up after Lurantis, we have Alolan Golem. Now, Alolan Golem was a very late addition when I was thinking of the team. I originally had Alolan Raticate, who wasn't much better, but it's adorable. Like, and everyone hates it, and so I was kind of inclined to use it. But, anyways, so this thing was revealed in the leaks. We have no idea what its type is going to be. The 4 ones I see floating around there are Rock Fire, Rock Dark, Rock Steel, and Rock Electric. And if it's Rock Electric or Rock Steel, it is 4 times weak to ground, and that's why I mentioned that Vikavolt having the ground immunity is great. But, I don't really care what its typing is going to be, unless it's Rock Fire, in which case, another Pokemon I have coming up later up is going to be obsolete, but, I don't think it's going to be, Rock Fire. I think it's going to be one of the 3 I mentioned above before it is. I have no idea what the pile on its back is. People have said it's like a taser, or a magnet, or, like, an amp for a guitar. I have no idea, like, or sort of like some gold nuggets on the inside. I have no idea what those are. And then, of course, it has this eyebrows, beard, and mustache. And this is the reason why I want to use Alolan Golem, because one of the YouTubers I watch a lot, his name is Bick Dip on a Bus, and I highly recommend his channel. He's really funny. But in his Thought Dump video for Sun and Moon, he called this thing, like, what do you call it, glorious ruler of Russia, and I have no idea why, but that line got me laughing so hard that I pretty much said, alright, this thing is going over Raticate, no objections. So, I am definitely going to use this Golem. Golem is okay. I like a lot of rock types better. I like Tyranitar, Gigalith, things like that, but, this thing is cool. I love the mustache, and I love the beard, and everyone seems to hate it. No one is using Alolan Golem, so I think it deserves some love. Like, if that's the reason why so many people are picking Poplio, then why can't I pick the Golem? There's another Pokemon coming up right after this that seems to be getting at least a minute bit of hate. it's getting a lot less hate than I thought it would, considering the outburst against other Pokemon kind of like it, I guess. But yeah, Alolan Golem. This is, if not the first, then one of the first team building videos or video like this that I've seen that someone has actually used it. It needs some love, man. But next up, we have Palisand. Now, Palisand was the Pokemon I mentioned. It's getting at least a minute bit of hate. It actually seems to be a lot more well-liked than I thought it would. But, I mean, so many people hate, like, Garbodor and Vanilluxe. And, of course, and so there's definitely people that say, it's a sandcastle. This is the most unoriginal thing since the ice cream cone Pokemon. Why does it exist? This thing shouldn't exist, and this is why I hate Sun and Moon, blah, 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 blah. I love this thing. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Vanilluxe and Garbodor, but I love it. It's so goofy. It's a ghost type. Ghost is my favorite type. How can you not like it? And it's Ghost Ground. We've only ever seen that with Golurk, and I love Golurk. I don't think Golurk really fits the typing that well. He seems more like a fighting type, but this thing definitely does fit the type, and I love the little radar shovel it has on its head. I love all the neat little designs it has, like all the jewels or shells, or whatever it is, or like over the mouth and around the head. It's another one of those Pokemon with a creepy backstory. But, I mean, it's gonna be fat. We all know that it's going to be fat. It has water compaction, which makes it even more fat. And I love it. It's so adorably goofy. I would say, how can you not like it? But there's a lot of reasons why you could not like it. He is Ghost and Ground, as I mentioned. That's good, although, because, like, Golem, I'm sure will learn at least a ground move. This thing also seems to be a special attacker, since in the trailer it knew Shadow Ball and Earth Power. So that's good, it's having special attacker. I mean, what else is there really to say? It has sand towers for arms. It has a big gaping mouth. It evolves from literally a pile of sand. But yeah, this is another Pokemon that I knew was going on the team, just because of how derpy it was. It's the Sandcastle Pokemon. How can you not like the sand... Okay, why do I keep saying that? There's a lot of reasons why you would hate a Sandcastle Pokemon. But just the whole premise of it, it's beautiful. It's beautiful how utterly stupid it is. And that's the reason why I'm using Palisand. But next up, this absolute beast. Wimpod. Wimpod did not look like a very strong Pokemon. Its ability is called Wimp Out. It has Wimp in its name. It looks like it fits the timid nature. And it looks small and tiny. I didn't think Wimpod was going to evolve, and if it did, it would not be this. But this absolute just Gundam Mech Horseshoe Crab Isopod Trilobite presumably Water Bug Death Machine. How can you not put this thing on a team? I've been saying that way too much, and I apologize. But this thing is so cool. You know it has to be strong. If it's not in Ubers or OU, it better be in UU. Can you see this thing being in PU? I mean, granted, I don't think you can see Charizard being in NU, but at least Charizard has that Stealth Rock weakness. This thing, it's got everything going for it. It has this cool design, it has the bug water typing, which we've only ever seen with Surskit, and then there's this Bubble Spider Pokemon that will probably be bug water, but oh man. It's not a bad typing at all. It covers a lot of weaknesses. Like, it's weak to what? Electric? I'm not up to date on my resistances, but I think grass is neutral against it. Fire is neutral against it. Rock, I think, still beats it. Flying, I think, still beats it. But I mean, maybe it'll be like extra frail, but it better have like base 100, base 110. Base high as the moon attack stat. Look at those hands. Oh my god. I, but this thing was another late edition, especially since, well, not especially since, but pretty much here's how my thought process went. When, before the leaks, I thought about using Wishy-Washy. That was kind of, because Wishy-Washy, its schooling form, oh, that thing looks cool. But the thing with Wishy-Washy was we had no idea how his ability would work, and then when we did learn how it worked, it doesn't keep that form, and it looks like it's going to be, like, uber weak in its normal form. And somebody said, oh, well then there's this cute Pokemon Pyukumuku, and it's definitely going to evolve. It doesn't. Pyukumuku is pretty much like the Stunfisk or the Dunsparce of a region. And I still like Pyukumuku, and I like Dunsparce and Stunfisk, but, for an in-game playthrough, you can't use Pokemon that suck. I mean, you can use sucky Pokemon, like Pokemon that would not be used competitively, but you can't use the worst of the worst. Unless that's what you're going for. Like, if you want to do a team that's just, like, Farfetch'd, Delibird, like, Smeargle that knows terrible moves through Sketch. What are some other terrible Pokemon? An unevolved Magikarp and Feebas, I guess. But, I mean, like, I tried to use a Swoobat once in White 2, and I had to delete it. It sucked, because it's a Swoobat, and its stat spread is awful, its learn set is awful, and then I replace it with a strong Pokemon that's Ferrothorn, and it absolutely wrecks shop. So, I could very well use Pyukumuku, but I don't see it being very strong. This thing I see being strong. And, like, it's, like, I hope it keeps, I assume it's going to keep the water typing. I think the bug typing is up for debate. It could be water fighting, it could be water, dark. Either of those would also be pretty cool. But, I mean, this thing looks so cool. It looks powerful. And, like, the shell on its back, I don't think is going to be very frail. It might have, like, low special defense and probably low HP, but its defense has to be good. If Mega Pinsir's defense is, like, at least decent, then this thing's defense has to also be defense. Because Mega Pinsir has, like, no shell. Its shell opens up for wings. Its shell doesn't look hard. It has some spikes in the background. That doesn't matter. This thing looks like it has a rock-hard shell. And it has gauntlets, too. And it looks like a Gundam mech. Like, first time I saw it, I didn't see the picture very high quality, so I thought it was, like, a bug thing. Oh, crap, it ran out of time. I'll keep saying what I'm doing. You won't notice anything, but currently I'm on the next Pokemon. But, when I first saw it, I thought it was a bug in a suit, and then the 4 little dangly arms were on controls, and then it sort of had, like, the giant robot claws. And it was, like, powering some mech. So I started calling it the Gundam neck, like the Gundam mech horseshoe crab. But, anyways, next up we have, lastly we have Alolan Marowak. Now, I love Alolan Marowak, and it's the reason why I'm not using Incineroar, because it looks so cool. I've always liked Marowak, but not had the incentive to use it, because its pure ground typing is kind of meh. Especially considering that so many things get Earthquakes by TM. So maybe, like, in an earlier game playthrough it could be used, but, like, for Gen 1, if you had to give, like, if I wanted to use a ground type, there's so many better options. There's Nidoking, Nidoqueen, I like Dugtrio. Speaking of which, Alolan Dugtrio is also, I've considered using it, like, after... Like, originally, I thought it looked kind of stupid, but then I watched Hoodlum Scrafty's video that explained that it has Pele's hair, and I think that's kind of a clever reference. So if it is Ground Fire, which it probably is, and that's a pretty good typing. 4 times to water, but, I mean, I've used Camerupt. I might use that depending on how things go, but I'm hoping that Alolan Golem isn't Rock Fire, else I'll have no reason to use this thing. Because I'll have a fire type of Golem, and I'll have a ghost type of Palisand. But, anyways, this thing's so cool. Like, the second it was revealed that, that Trial Captain it's spelled like Kiao, but I think it's pronounced like Kiav. I'm not up to date on my pronunciations, but when it said that he had a Marowak partner, everyone said, okay, it's a fire type Alolan Marowak, and it's going to have its bone is going to be a fire twirler stick, and that's exactly what we got, and better because it's a ghost type. So it's a reference to the whole Cubone, all Cubone wear of a skull of their dead mothers kind of thing, which is kind of weird. But I mean, when you kind of think of it as sort of like the first Cubone did it, and then it taught all of its children to wear skulls, and so it was just sort of passed down as sort of like an evolutionary thing, I guess. Like, not evolution as in Pokemon, evolutionary as in, like, Darwinism, but and that kind of makes sense. And then, of course, when it evolves, the skull just sort of gets molded to its head. But now it's tying with all that, with the ghost typing and the green fire on the bone. And, it's so cool. I like skeletons. Skeletons they're spooky, and they're scary, and they're skeletons. I mean, what's there more to say? I already like Marowak. It's a great fire type. I like the ghost typing, as I mentioned. Ghost is my favorite type. And its design is cool. And that's mainly what these are going to be based off of, design. And of course, I picked Pokemon with good designs. I like Vikavolt looks cool. I like Praying Mantises. Palisand is derpy. Alolan Golem is hilarious. This thing is cool looking. And Wimpod's evolution is beastly. So, like, what more can I say? It's so cool looking. And its body is purple. Purple is a good color. Yeah, and when I get this thing, that's when I'll eventually ditch Valitin. I can't see any more temporary members. Honestly, I'm not too impressed with this Pokemon lineup. I mean, other Pokemon I like the Toucan. I like Lycanroc Day. I like Solgaleo and Lunala. I like the Ultra Beast with a giant mouth on its chest. Just because it's fat. I like, I don't know, kind of about it. I like Pyukumuku because it's cute. Wishiwashi's pretty cool. So yeah, those are other Pokemon that I think look cool. Of course, this is subject to change. There's always Pokemon that I think look stupid, and then I end up using them and they're great. Like Amoonguss. Like, when I saw Amoonguss, I thought, oh, this thing is ugly, and then once it got bumped to OU, I said, okay, what the heck is this thing doing here? And then I looked up what it can do, and then I saw it in action, I'm like, okay, this thing is great. And so I began to like it. So, of course, I might start liking some of these Pokemon. Of course, I'm not going to like Decidueye because I hate Decidueye. Okay. But, yeah, nothing else much to say here. This is the team. I guess I'll show, like, a... Yeah, I'm gonna pause the recording and I'll show a quick roundup of the team. Alright, so here they all are. We've got Vikavolt, Lurantis, Alolan Golem, Palisand, Wimpod's evolution, who's been dubbed like Champ Pod and Buff Pod. I'm still going to call it Gundam Pod. And Alolan Marowak. Looking at them, I really do like them. It's kind of hard to say which of the teams I've used are my favorite, because generally it's like if I've had an experience with them recently, I like them. Like, I like my ORAS team, but that's because I recently finished ORAS or Omega Ruby. Yeah, I wanted to finish that game before Smoon came out, and I finished it like 4 months before it came out. But looking at them now, I think they're gonna be pretty cool. It is a good range of types. I try not to double up on types. Of course, I have 2 bug types, 2 ghost types, and if Alolan Golem is rock electric, 2 electric types. But it's at least a wide array of types, and I do have fire, water, grass. But yeah, this is my team. In the comments, if you're a fan of Pokemon, leave your team. And if you don't know all the leaks, then I guess I can post a link to a picture of them. I don't know. I got these high quality sprites from some link on like Reddit or something. But just Google like Sun and Moon Pokedex leaks, and you'll get an image of them. Yeah, tell me your team. And if you think my team sucks, then feel free to say so. I'm open to criticism. If you think I said you can't not like this Pokemon way too much, then feel free to say it, because I know I did. But, anyways, this has been a fun video, and Funtime Foxy will be coming, hopefully Friday. See you later. Sign Crocomire out. That's my outro.